Today's video, we're going to talk about using YouTube remarketing audiences to power your search campaign strategy. Yes, I'm talking about search and remarketing together here. Ultimately, you can have your search campaigns you're setting up through Google Ads to only run when somebody has been to your site. Most, seasoned advertisers know this already. However, what I don't hear anybody talking about is having people who visit your YouTube account, watch a video on your YouTube channel of some sort, using that as a remarketing audience, and through your search campaigns, only have your search campaigns run for somebody who's already watched a video on your YouTube channel. This particular strategy here is a freaking gold mine if you can actually put together a YouTube channel and related videos that actually get viewed through YouTube. Because nowadays, anybody who has any kind of question about buying something, they're probably going to go to YouTube at some point to start their research. You have the videos there, somebody sees it, that primes the pump on that sale that's going to occur later on. When somebody goes to go to Google, type in, buy a jackhammer, whatever, in Google, and they saw a video explaining how to buy, what to know before you buy a jackhammer on YouTube earlier, and then they see your search ad from the same brand as the brand that they saw on that video earlier, the likelihood they click on your ad is going to be 3 to 5 times higher, and the people who also contact you are going to be more likely to convert, because we know this through some previous testing that we did that I'm going to talk about in this video today. Ultimately, though, it can get a search campaign that wasn't going to work on its own to work because you've built trust prior to the consumer search being made, and that's primarily what I'm talking about in today's video, of which I'll have a case study that's very interesting that'll go over the results we got doing that exact very thing. So if you really want to be able to dominate Google search, putting together a YouTube channel and building it up really is just about making search campaigns work, or remarketing campaigns to work to go along with it in general, because you can also run display ads to everybody who's seen that YouTube video on your channel before. I'll also talk about that in today's video. I'll give you everything you need to be able to replicate this company's results if you want a lot more results out of your search ads. And even if your search ads are working right now, you can make them work tons better by understanding how to put together some videos on your YouTube channel that are just helpful to the general market as a whole. So I will go over that and more in today's video. But before I get into the content here in detail, if you do not know who I am Corey Zyman, owner of Guarantee PPC, a online advertising agency that specializes in guaranteeing results for our clients. We do not charge our clients management fees until we get them a certain minimum lift in the profitability up front in excess of the management fee. We're the only agency out there that does such a thing, which should tell you something about the quality of information that you're receiving on today's video. So with that said, getting into it, this process of remarketing to somebody who's watched a video on your YouTube channel, I'm going to go over here, and it's a 4-step process. Technically, there's a way I've talked about on other videos on this channel how you can actually remarket to somebody who even watches another channel, if you will, which doesn't have near the effect, because when somebody sees a video on your YouTube channel and it was helpful to them, skyrockets the chance they're going to do business with you in the future, even if it's not right away. A lot of times it's useful if you know somebody watching a video is going to be a perfect candidate for your service, let's say. You can link their YouTube channel to your account and then ultimately market to them so that when they search for your keywords, you can market to them that way. If that were the one thing that beyond keywords would signify a person's a customer that you would actually want, or a whale customer or what have you. What we're talking about here, as I mentioned, is about creating your own YouTube channel and then doing search remarketing through your search campaigns, making sure if they type in your keywords that essentially that they have to have seen a video of yours before to also be able to see the ad. This is something that we've also done for our own firm. This YouTube channel, we do remarketing, but we also set up our search campaigns. So if somebody watches a video on this channel, they'll see the ad. We do less of it nowadays because we have enough business coming in. Our brand's big enough now that we don't need to necessarily rely on it so much, but it was very effective, when we were doing it. And, ultimately you don't need a huge channel to do it. After 1,000 subscribers or, even a few thousand views a month, you can already kill it with this particular strategy. And maybe only hundreds of views a month on your videos because it might be a small niche. And so in a small niche where it's like jackhammer reviews, there's probably only a couple thousand video views a month around and with that topic. And if you just get a segment of them, 10% of them to see your videos because you do your best to put together the videos that answer people's questions in your space, you can make this strategy work already, which really is what it's about. You create the YouTube channel. The most important thing with YouTube, as somebody who's successful on YouTube, is about consistency. You find questions that people in your space are going to ask. You don't talk about, what's going on in the shop or what any of that nonsense. It's what's a question people are asking that is associated with our product or service. We make a dedicated video to answer that question. Then you go ahead and you publish it. And then you have on schedule, as if like your life depended on it, have another video that comes out a week later doing the same thing. And then a week later, another thing. And a week later, another thing. And at first, you're only going to get like 2 views a video, but that's fine. Sometimes you'll get a lot more than that if there's an underserved market for your content. But the main thing is you start out with that kind of views because if there is competition and you don't have any subscribers, YouTube's going to prefer to show the videos of the people who have more subscribers because they're more authoritative. But everybody's got to start somewhere. Every guy with 10 million subscribers started out with 1 view on his first video that he published. But the consistency is important because if you get a video out there and you only get 3 views, but the people who watched it all the way through, the next video you publish is going to get 5. The next video after that, people watch that video all the way through, is going to get 10. And then it's 20. And then pretty soon you're getting hundreds of views per video that you publish and the strategy's on. Okay? So with that said, the first step in the process is building your YouTube audience by answering people's questions through and by means of your videos. And the other, I will say quickly, that'll say quickly on this is to say, as you see on this particular video I'm doing here and on this channel, you do not need a super fancy editing or super fancy set to make a good video. You can have a talking head video where all you have is a whiteboard or even not even that. And just providing the expert knowledge that consumers are going to want in your market, you can already make your YouTube channel successful. All you got to do is get on video talking about what you need to talk about or have an employee do it. And I promise you this will work. Yes, you might take a year of building up the content before you really built up the amount of views per month on your videos on your channel to make this really shine. But again, anything that's easy isn't worth doing. And because if it were easy, all your competitors could do it. And if your competitors would do it already, then there's no, in marketing and advertising, you got to have an edge in order to have something that's real. With that said, you just take, if you put the content out and you make the videos and they're able to get viewed, people actually care about watching the whole thing or nearly the whole thing, you will consistently keep getting more views on your videos. And at some point you'll get enough and this is going to work like gangbusters for you. So that's step 1 in the process. Step 2 is you set up your search campaign, of course. So maybe your search ads work already without having to do any YouTube remarketing as a part of your search campaigns. Like I said, even if it works, it'll work a hell of a lot better if you have a YouTube channel that you're growing in the background to eventually, your goal eventually should be that you don't market to anybody on Google search who hasn't first saw your video because it's going to make the ROI on your clicks 5 times what it would be if they didn't see your video before. And instead of settling for, let's say, a 300% ROAS, you're going to get a 1500% ROAS because that's legitimately what this is going to do when you do it. You're creating a brand. People see your content before they search. You're now seen as a brand. The same thing could apply if you were talking about blogging. We've actually done experiments in the past to see people who, like, what's our click-through rate on our search ads once we started putting content out that we would get ranked on Google search. We're seeing click-through rates 4 times roughly what we had when we started out before we were doing content marketing because people see the ad and they read who the ad's from before they click on it a decent percentage of the time. So, and then with that, you can make your search ad have your brand name more prominent when you already are a brand like that because when they scan to decide, should I click on this ad? Should I click on this? They see your brand name. It's like, oh, I know who that is. Click. Because people want to be able to do business with the brand. They don't want to go with some nameless, faceless company. So we put the search campaign together. Then you go to step 3. You link your YouTube account to your Google Ads account. This is easy. And once you do that, there'll be automatically a remarketing audience set up in your Google Ads account for anybody who's watched any videos on your YouTube channel. And then, of course, once you've done that, you can add your YouTube remarketing audience to your search campaign, right? Once you've done that, the way that you make it, if you want it this way, and you need it perhaps to be this way to make your search ads have the kind of return that you need to make them sustainable and that you can keep running because they're paying for themselves. What you do like we did on a couple companies before, is you go ahead and you reduce the cost per click bid on your individual keywords. And then you, on the audience menu, because you add the YouTube remarketing audience that's created for you by Google Ads, put it into your campaigns. In the audience menu, you can access it and you add a plus 900% bid adjustment to the YouTube remarketing audience. So effectively what you've done when you've lowered your keyword bids on all your keywords, and then you raised your bid or created a large bid adjustment on the YouTube remarketing audience, you've made it so that essentially you're telling Google, hey, I only want my search ads to show for users who have watched at least one video on my YouTube channel already. Then you're in business to get higher click-through rates and higher conversion rates, which if you do that, you're going to get more impressions because you're going to have a higher ad rank, and a return where you're only getting 200-300% ROAS should be roughly 5 times what it was before in terms of total profit, because it's going to increase your click-through rate, which means more clicks, at least from the clicks that you're the money that you're spending right now. And because you're probably not spending very much because it's not very profitable. And then once you do this, it is going to be profitable. Then you can start scaling the spending easily. You'll make easily 5 times as much money going ahead and building the YouTube channel and using that to seed your search campaign. With that said, that is the strategy right there that I would use if I'm struggling to get my campaigns to be profitable or I can't scale them anymore. Get it to where they will scale again. So the last part in the process, as I mentioned, is adding the bid adjustment to the YouTube audience. Now, we had to give you a perfect example of what type of situation you would use this versus just regular old keyword targeting, the way that everybody does search campaigns. We had a company in the construction software industry where we'd use the YouTube remarketing search campaign strategy in order to make our campaigns work. I just made a video about how for this same company, actually, how we added audiences to where on the search campaigns, we added additional audiences there, and we did a positive bid adjustment on the audiences that would bring in a business customer. Because what we were looking for with this company is not to say business, corporate customers that have construction companies with at least 100 employees. So bigger companies, not smaller companies. Well, and this is a very common problem with other B2B companies where they're selling to businesses. There's more small companies with 1, 2, 3, 4 employees than there are big companies. And most companies selling to businesses can't sell to people that have less than 5 employees because they don't have any money. All right. So if you're trying to run a search campaign and you're getting out there for everybody who searches for construction software, essentially what you're doing is you're letting every single person, no matter how big of company they have, click on your ad, wasting your money. And you end up getting 95% of the people clicking on your ad are not people who are of the right size that you can sell to and that has money for your product or service. So with that said, you could be like the average person in this situation that runs search ads and say, oh, Google search sucks. There's not the right kind of people clicking on the ads. It's a bunch of tire kickers and cheap small companies that are responding. You could do that ultimately, or you could go ahead and use this strategy here to come up with a YouTube strategy that'll be coupled with your search strategy that'll get your actual search strategy to work. The great thing with the YouTube is, like in the construction software space, you can make content that will only appeal to companies that have over 100 employees, like we did in this particular situation. I told them that the only way this is going to work short term is if we find a way to weed out the other 95% of the small company. We did this 2 ways. One, we looked at adding additional audiences and observing which audiences net quality leads, which is not nearly as successful as this other one, which is the YouTube remarketing, where we made targeted content for YouTube, explain for people that have large construction companies how to use software or how to just manage their business. And that's the other thing, right? Because a lot of people that do go ahead and do YouTube for their business, they just are trying to be able to just sell. And that's a big mistake. I don't, for instance, on this channel, I do mention that you can hire us, on the video, but that's 1% of the content. What I'm really trying to do is just get and build rapport with the business community so that when they need somebody, I'm first in line, just like what I'm suggesting for you to do on this video. Ultimately, in this situation with the construction companies, we talked about how you can use software to make your construction company more efficient, but also just went over other things about HR, payroll, all this other stuff, there's not really a lot of YouTube channels out there that talk about that level of content because it's so niche. And frankly, for that matter, because there's very few people with that niche experience to talk about it. Why you don't need anything fancy with your YouTube channel to make it work. You just need someone knowledgeable to share their knowledge, bottom line. So you have somebody that owns a construction company or manages one talking about these issues that bigger construction companies deal with and how to what are the options and how best to deal with it as per their experience dealing with it in their construction company. That's what we had as far as content. They posted those videos. The videos would get views. And then we're building up a remarketing audience so that our search campaigns, when somebody types in construction company softwares on Google later, our search ad only shows up for somebody who saw that video before, confirming to us that the person who we're going to pay to see our ad and click through our ad is actually going to be of the size that we need to actually monetize that click. So in a situation like this, where 95% of the market searching for your keywords are not the right prospect because you're in a business selling to bigger companies, this is the perfect go-to solution for you to be able to fix the issue. And so you don't have to just throw away search ads as a whole and can be effective with it again. There's so many businesses that sell to businesses would kill for this strategy if it were easy to do. That's the hard, that's the bad part about this is it's not easy to do and it's not quick, but it's super effective once you get the ball rolling on it. And it just keeps becoming more effective because YouTube videos that get views start getting more views and it gets more and more profitable as you go. It's like a snowball. It just is hard to get initially going, like it is pushing a car from a dead start. Bottom line, what you're going to have is if you do what I'm saying here, you're probably going to be the only one answering questions from somebody who has firsthand knowledge on the topics that you're covering. So the content's going to be very well received by the audience that you're trying to market to. But businesses as a whole that sell to businesses, I can tell you from firsthand experience, they would kill to have the capability to be able to market to the 5% of the searches that have the big companies with the big wallets and money to spend as a result. Most companies, even though it's unideal, they're not going to throw away the opportunity of search ads. They'll just take a very low return on search ads, knowing that 95% or 50% or whatever aren't going to be the right caliber of company to deal with. For instance, we had a company document digitizing services. And in that market, most of the people looking for digitization are tiny companies or even in consumers itself. We didn't use the YouTube strategy there, but they specifically were willing to take basically a break even or a little bit of a loss to dominate the search results on Google in terms of the ads because they didn't want their competitors taking it over. They could have used the YouTube strategy to filter out all the smaller companies using the same way as this construction company was, but they didn't want to do all the YouTube content. So it's not that hard to come up with content that your ideal customer, and questions they have and put that into a video content and then putting it out there itself. If you're selling product itself, and then it's very easy / simple. You take your product and you show it being used for the different things that people use it for. You sell a CNC machine, show it cutting parts and cutting this and making this and put that content on YouTube because people want to know how to make that part, are going to find that video, and that person who makes that kind of part is your customer base. It's not somebody who's looking for CNCs as a whole. It's somebody looking for a CNC that you sell that cuts the part that you showed on the video that only your CNC cuts. So I think you get my point of what I'm trying to explain here. If you're not sure what of your situation, what kind of video content you would make to make this work, or even how well it would work, go along with it, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours. Beyond that, you can also reach out and we can have a conversation about running ads for your business with the mountain of different techniques that we have, which I can tell you about. If you were to reach out, we can get you more return, a greater return on your ads or a return in general, maybe on a new platform or whatever that you want to get into. We can include that in our conversation, and we can obviously offer you a guarantee to go along with it. As I mentioned, what we do here at our firm, if you're interested in that, we can also do that at the same time. We also been selling ad templates. I just wanted to let you know that we worked in over 100 plus niche markets And if we worked in your niche market before, you'd be silly not to just buy out from us our template that we have for that market, such as, for roofers. If you're a roofer, we've already spent tens of millions of dollars in ad spend in the roofing space. You can take the best possible ad, best possible campaign, best possible landing page template we put together for that niche market and just use it in your account. A lot of people think, well, I'm not going to spend, a couple $1,000s or whatever for that template when I could spend that on ad spend. But you're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in wasted ad spend to find out the perfect set of keywords, the perfect ad, the perfect structure. It makes no sense to not use that. As long as you're in a different geographic area than our client, then you can use it there, and it's all fair game to use it. We have hundreds of these templates available, and we can tell you the results you would get with it up front, which, if the results are better than what you're getting significantly, then why would you not use it or want it? But if you're interested in that, you can also reach out to me at our firm. And for you guys that don't want to work with an ad agency, that's the second best thing, in my opinion, that you can do. We got people using these templates to start other businesses on the side. They start up, let's say a roofing campaign template. They can sell leads to other roofers. They'll sub out the work. We got people that are selling, let's say printer toner, because we've done it in the US, or selling it in another country using our US template. These are all things that you can do with the templates, by the way. So with that said, though, I'm going to get back to what I was mentioning here. To sum this strategy up, you create your search campaign. If your search campaign works on its own, great. If they don't, put that to the side for a while. Create your YouTube channel, come up with a list of 100 questions that your ideal person asks that is either directly related or leads up to a purchase in your space of your exact product. Answer them in the videos, space it out 1 week at a time, or you could do 1 day at a time if you really wanted to. From there, you watch the channel views grow. Just regular talking head content. Once you start getting to the point where you have hundreds of views a month, go ahead and link your YouTube account to your Google Ads account, add that YouTube remarketing audience to your search campaigns, add a plus 900% bid adjustment to that remarketing audience, reduce your bids on your keywords by 90%, which you'll need a manual bidding campaign to do this. And then you'll, of course, every single person who clicks on your ad in the future, it should be profitable. Now, if you want to know how profitable, this construction company that I mentioned, our lead to opportunity rate that we had before we did this adjustment was right around 2%, meaning out of 100 leads, we were getting on average only 2 of those to turn into an opportunity, which means we talked to the lead, verified, they have the need, and they're a qualified opportunity. Now, what do you think it went to once we actually were only showing the Google search ads to people who saw the YouTube channel before? It went from 2% lead to opportunity rate that we had before to 47% lead to opportunity rate. So it's on a complete different planet, which part of that's going to simply come from narrowing down the audience to the actual buyers who buy, that have a big enough company that we could sell to them. But we're also they already trust us as a brand. They know we're not just a fly-by-night company. They know we're a brand in the space. So they're going to be more likely to want to do business with us. And when they fill out the form, they're going to be more likely to respond. When we talk to them, they're going to be more open. And so you're just going to have a higher op rate. You're going to also get a higher op to closing rate as well, which we did have. So it may seem like, a bunch of hassle to create a YouTube video or YouTube channel with, answering people's questions and take a long time and all that, but, and easier just to pay for your ad to show up when your keywords are typed in. But the return you get is so much better when you actually get them to watch your videos first. Once you got these videos, when somebody gets to your site, you can have remarketing ads going, which are these same videos recycling for people. So if they're on YouTube at a later point between the time that they initially searched and got to your site, or it came from like a referral or whatever, and the time that they buy from somebody, if they're going to buy, they see your videos for them. And then they see them, they notice them, that's good content. And every video that they watch makes it just a little bit more likely that they're going to convert into a customer at that point in time. We do it for our own firm. As soon as somebody even watches one video on our channel, or like in the case that I mentioned, get to our site, they're going to see my other videos that I make here. It's all to build rapport with the user so they know we're not just a fly-by-night agency. This should be done every time for that reason alone, let alone get a search campaign working way more productively than you would otherwise. You also can use those videos to to just market for customers in general. You can actually have it to where if somebody is in the niche that you want to get familiar with your brand, you show them that video content first. Then you have an ad later that says what you really sell, if you will. And you can do that as well, which generally speaking, in order to do that, the best way to do it is to have a YouTube campaign and a demand gen campaign set up. And you do, or more specifically, just do an in-feed YouTube campaign placement. So in-feed means it's is going to be in the search results. So if somebody's searching for something related to your space, they're going to find your video there. And, basically, hopefully at the right time when they're doing the research, they're going to find your videos. And that can be your foot in the door with the prospect. So it's another way you can use those videos to make money. So there's like a bunch of different ways you can make money from good video content once you put it together. And for that matter, none of your competition is probably going to do it because they're too lazy or whatever. It's not something you can just write a check for and you're done right away. Or they just don't know anybody an employee who's intelligent enough, sounds intelligent enough to make the video content. You do it in your space, you're probably going to be the only one doing it. And why would I go and do business with somebody else when this guy over here has 10 videos I've watched and they were all helpful, very helpful. Not only were they helpful, so I want to give back and buy their product, but second to it, fly-by-night companies don't put out video content and put a face to the brand along with it. So anyway, if you like that, the idea of this, I've got tons of other ideas like this on this channel stuff that has worked that we've came up with at our firm to guarantee our clients' results. So with that said, you should subscribe to this channel because I got tons more I can share. With that said, all the information comes from me, and I spend 40 hours a week doing ad strategy at our firm on our dozens of different ad accounts and clients that we service. And so I'm giving you firsthand knowledge about what's actually out there that's effective running ads online. With that, I also have a great blog you should check out as well if you like the channel. You can find my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog. The blog has screenshots and step-by-step instructions on how to use the strategies that I talk about on this channel. And therefore, people think it's very good, better than even the channel content because it's more in depth as well. So you should check that out as well. Beyond that, so pretty much spelled out how much of a difference this can make on your search campaign profitability if you use it. If you're talking about search ads that already worked, the difference in ROI that you're going to see from somebody who clicked your ad, didn't know anything about you versus somebody who has watched your videos before is going to be night and day difference. We're talking about 2 to 3 times the conversion rate per click. So that if that isn't, obviously make you want to do it, or if you didn't want to do it before, that should make you want to do it in itself. And then when you add in the additional impressions you're going to get, you're talking about a 5x difference in, what you can do with this account overall, because Google is going to see your ads perform. It's going to see your website perform, give you a higher ad rank, and then you're going to scale a lot more because now you're a brand on top of everything else. So with that said, I'm going to wrap it up with that. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.
Remember when I said remarketing audience S was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.